The Romany Gypsy community is Surrey's largest ethnic minority. We're modern people, but most of us are still very keen to keep our traditions alive, as Dahlia Loveridge's Widow's Tale explains.
My name is Dahlia Loveridge. I live at Cleamer, caravan site, Chobham, yeah. Henry Loveridge. First met in Hampshire. We was doing tailor picking up, and from there we got together, and we in '63, and we had our first child in '64, and we ended up having 9 anyway. Yeah, we travelled up and down the roads and pulling off here and there. We travelled a lot round West Drayton, a lot down Hampshire, a lot down Essex and Kent. We done hop picking, pea picking, tater picking, cherry picking, but we still go away every summer. We generally go to Essex, all different places we used to go when we was young, take children out pea picking. So this is me gonna fry some pork slices and make a Jerry Gray. I light the fire, put the pan on, try to show the kids what we used to do. It's potatoes, onions, tomatoes and a few oxos. I've already made it, my son's just stirring it round and keeping it, doing a bit of scran. Here I'm doing the baking pudding. Roll your flour out, you put your bacon rashers down, you cut onion up, tomato and a potato. You roll it all out, you place it all together and you roll it up. Put it in a cloth, put it in a pot, cook it. 3 hours to do a baking pudding, and it tastes lovely. Tastes lovely it do, really nice. At the end of the day, we make a fire and we stand around it and have chats, tells old stories about old times, thinks back on your memories and tells a lot of stories. Tries to educate the children. We can't show them what we used to do because it's not around anymore, because we used to travel, go up and down. Now you just got to pull in these fields and take the chances wherever you're to, but wherever we're to, we're always in the way.
I'm Wayne Johnson, and I'm the coach here at Guildford City Amateur Boxing Club. Every one of these boys here are travellers, yeah. Well, we felt in the boxing fraternity, a lot of the travelling boys weren't getting a fair deal. You know, there was some of the clubs was pushing them to the back of the gym and they weren't getting the right training. So we never decided to just have a club just for travellers, but it just turned out that way. You know what I mean? Most of the travelling boys know that this is all the travellers come here. We've got a boy here called Billy Claydon. He's won 5 national titles. He got a gold medal winner of like a round robin multi-nations thing this year. He's boxing 2 world championships. You know, he's a real good boy. He's on the Olympic squad as well, so he's a good kid.
Billy Claydon, I'm from Cranley. I've had about 60 odd fights now. I've only lost about 8 or 9. Won schools titles, won schools twice, NABCs, ABAs, boxed for England about 20 odd times. Just in the GB squad, in the England boxing squad, Great Britain. Got to train every day. Got to train every day, running, come down the gym every day. So that's what you got to do, ain't you? I just eat me 3 meals a day. Eat good food like salad, chicken, meat. That's it, most of it. Keep him lean and mean, yeah.
Johnny Edwards, and one of the coaches at the boxing club. Just finished training the minor group. They're a little group from about 7 to 10. This is where all the talent comes from. We put a lot of time in the nursery group, but if you can keep them interested for about 2 or 3 years, we've had some real good boys out of it. They've got to start from this age, and then they've got to get the awkward age, 15, 16. Hopefully Billy get through that to 17, and then they can make it all the way if they want to, you know.
In his traveller's tale, Nelson Crittenden remembers the key role horses played in the life of gypsies.
My name's Nelson Crittenden, and I live at Phil Common, Walton-on-Thames, Surrey. My grandfather come up here nearly 80 years ago. They come up from Corkscrew Spit in Kent, and they moved up here to buy bits of land and squatted on it. Some bought it, some put benders up. My grandfather come here with an old wagon and bought a wooden bungalow. A real rye mush, lived in London, and it was orchards. They weren't used like there was in Kent, but the old man used to sell it off bits by bits, and that's how the travellers come to buy the cheap bits of ground. Got planning permission, some did, some didn't. They built places like I live in today. Within 5 mile radius, I should think there would be between 500 or 600 travellers in one spot. Some's in houses, obviously, now, but it used to be tents, benders, wagons, whatever they had. Even air raid shelters they lived in here. I should think there'd be more travellers in Surrey than there would be in Kent. There was everything. It was their only means of transport, only to get from one stopping place to another. Or perhaps go down to Kent for hop picking, cherry picking, strawberry picking, pea picking, whatever they could do. Well, they never had nothing else, but they would use a horse to draw a wagon, or if they was lucky enough to have a trap, they'd put the same horse in the trap and drive to the pub. And I've done the same thing, but I'd never had to have one to draw me about to live in. I had one for pleasure, to drive up the pub on a Sunday morning, or perhaps have a race, a trotting race. I've had full breds, half breds, cobs, 3/4 breds, but now they're 9/10. They're nearly like racehorses. You could put them in the derby if they weren't coloured. Your affections for an animal, it don't change at all. Even the older people's 80 plus, they look at a horse straight away and they think back to their roots, where it used to take them. Horses today, they're just a pleasure thing to look at out in the field. I just love horses, and so 9 travellers out of 10 will tell you the same. If they've not had a horse, they'd love to have one. They wouldn't go back to their roots. Even young people, young travellers, what's got on their feet and got a few bob, they would love to have that. To have it back and think, my grandmother used to have one of them. My grandmother fetched a nest of children up with them. But there ain't many travellers who wouldn't love to go back, even if it was only for a Saturday and a Sunday, to put that horse in, harness it up, jump in that old red wagon or a barrel top and just go 3 or 4 miles down the road.
The most famous gypsy and traveller events in Britain are horse fairs, but gypsies have always flocked in great numbers to horse races too. In her Traveller's Tale, Harriet Lee describes what it's like to be a Dukkerer, or fortune teller, at Britain's most famous horse race, the Epsom Derby.
Ready now for the Vodafone Derby. Stand by for a start. That's it. They're racing. Off to a good start too.
James Joyce, Swansea. I've been here a few years now, 2 or 3 years. It's got a little crack in it.
First race at quarter the odds, first 3, Derby, 50 odds, first 3. First race of the Derby then. Here we go, big prices on the first of the Derby. What a race! What a race! What a race!
5 of the flip-flops are fiver. Try a pair on, love, they look better on than off. 5 of the flip-flops. Try a pair on, sweetheart, honestly. It's like walking on air. David Jones from Doncaster, and we're selling just China Crown Derby. I think it's just so, it looks so expensive and it's a collector's item. The Royal Worcester, which we've got as well, can range from £3,000 to £6,000 per piece. It's for sure for collectible, for a collectible thing as well, but to give to the children or to the girls when they get married, and they pass it down through the families.
Please buy your tokens from the gas box for the next ride. Pay now for the next ride.
Rocky Lee, I'm from Epsom, Kim Lane site. The sling test made, all handmade, standing knife blade, all cut out, any carved out, any shape you want.
Frankie Dettori at the 15th attempt lays the rest. His Derby Ghost as up to the line, authorised, wins in a canter by 5 or 6 lengths. In second place then is Eagle Mountain.
I'm Harriet Lee. I come from Brighton. Well, I'm 83 now. I've been coming ever since I've been born. With my mum and dad. There was 14 of us. Now we're down to 4. We pulled on here, and that's where they used to pull out here. All this. The fair wasn't here then. Happier days. We're too fast now. There was good times, nice bit of singing, accordions. The girls used to find a man here, and they used to meet here. They used to run off Derby night, singing and dancing, lovely horses, lovely wagons. I read hands, crystals, and I can foresee the future and I can see the past, darling. But I'm afraid the past was better than the future for them. Everybody wants money, but you've got to work for it. Nobody's going to give you nothing. You're born to be a gypsy, darling, and I'm a real Romany gypsy. I've been a Dukkerer all my life, darling, my 5 generations at it. And I go all over the country. I'm born to it, and you're born to be a gypsy, and you're born to do my job. The old timers are gone. The new generation in our game, the children have been educated. They do other things. They get a little bit forwarder. So you've got to be educated today to know what you're talking about, haven't you? Education is good. On this side, on the Tapnam Corner side, there was 50. There was Fawny Lee, there was Britty Lee, Phoebe Lee, Sissy Lee. Some of them used the name but didn't own it. You was seen and not heard in my mother's days. If she was talking to a lady and having a talk, she used to say, go out there because your ear holes will be big enough.
In The Son's Tale, Danny Signs remembers his dad and looks at how gypsies and travellers remember the ones they have lost.
Danny Signs and I live on Kalima Caravan site in Chobham. My dad was born in Aldershot and he lived around Ash area, and he met me mum in 1989. They got married and they had us kids. He was a very well loved man, and he loved to have fun in that, and he was a very hard working man. A very nice family man. Always have a joke and a laugh with you and have fun. He died then, and I'm 12 now, about 12. I remember him having a laugh and having fun. That's what I remember my dad as. I've got 2 brothers and 1 sister. An older brother, Bill, 15, a little brother, Henry, who's 10, and a little sister, Chelsea, who's 7. He did anything really, block paving, tree work, tarmacking, that sort of thing, really. Yeah, he's very proud to be a traveller, and he had to move away and that, and he lived on the site here and that. Yeah, I went travelling. We mostly probably travelled round Essex and that, and he used to drive a Cabstar all the time, like the Cabstar. We had a blue one last time we went away in a Cabstar. They was very sad and upset. My mum ain't really got over it yet. It's really sad, really. Yeah, it was a very nice holiday, and we went to the seaside and that, in the beach. We stayed in the hotel. He's down in Ash. He's gone. He's buried down there. Yeah, we go down and see him every week. It's important because a lot of travellers live around Ash, and a lot of them's lived there their whole life, and they bury all the dead down there. My dad's gravestone's got lots of writing on it, and it got chainsaws and that drawn on the sides of it and things like that. He used to work with chainsaws and that. It's made out of marble, his stone is, and he got lots of big flowers on it. They like to keep it looking good for other people to see. We miss my dad very much. We go down there every week to see him. Have a good time.
Most gypsies and travellers in Surrey follow a form of Christianity called Evangelical Christianity. In this traveller's tale, Tommy Wilson describes how his site was built near Leatherhead.
Calling the animals 2 by 2, and this is what I want you to do. But no, they didn't listen to him. No, they didn't listen to him. No, they didn't listen to him. They were all lost in their sin. Then the rains came, oh, then the floods came.
My name is Tom Wilson, and I am a gypsy evangelist. I live at Salvation Place, Leatherhead, which is a gypsy camp. We've been there since the site was opened in 1984. We started to put a church on the site. The church on the site then started to grow. And it grew so big, we had to go to other places. We built a church at Slough, another one in Kent. People started to get saved by the hundreds and by the thousands. All over England, Scotland, Ireland and Wales, people were getting saved. It was what you call a revival. It got so big that there must have been about 10, 20,000 gypsies saved. It's changed the gypsy look culture and the gypsy way of life forever. There isn't a family in this country who doesn't have somebody saved. One wonderful thing is that now the Christian gypsies are no longer outlaws, but live inside the law. If you walk around this site, you'll see every motor has got a tax on it. At the conventions, the tent is put up. There's men who are called the tent men. They take control and they put the tent up. Then you get the men who look after the dustbins and the toilets, and they pull them all on, set them all up, And then the trailers start to come. Up to 1,000 trailers will come to a convention. And you can imagine the rubbish that 1,000 trailers would probably leave behind. 1 week later, when we leave the field behind, there's not one match you could pick up on the ground. When the Gorgie people see that, they realise something has happened. Years ago, there was an old man called Gypsy Smith, and he was a great preacher. We're talking about in the early 1900s. They used to ask him, why don't you go and preach to your own people? And he would always answer the same way. The time is not right for the Gypsy people. He knew. When he went to try and preach to the Gypsy people, they would laugh. We built this church here. And they came down and said, you've got no planning permission for that. And the council came back the next week and they said, we're going to give it permission. And I said, what do you want to call this place? We see that something has happened. Policemen don't have to come down here no more. We said, we want it changed to Salvation Place. It's the only name that's been changed in Surrey for the gospel.
Now you got some old motors that go in every day. Some of them they need a tow for you can get away. I like a Bedford, don't mind a Horseman. Long as it's a going, boys, it's good enough for me. I jumped in my old lorry, drove it up Horseman, then outside the gun. Up there I see poor old Colo, he said he's had everyone. Little Nelson Barton had an old Bedford van, said I'll give you tender chop, so boy I smacked his hand.